Some leaders think rudeness is the way to go, but new research shows mean bosses can be bad for workers and the bottom line. Those findings are the focus of the most emailed story this morning on the New York Times website. Tony Schwartz is founder and CEO of the Energy Project. Tony, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get to some of the findings from these studies that were conducted that involved belittling and rudeness. The group that was belittled performed 33% worse, and the group that encountered rudeness performed 61% worse. Why are there still mean bosses out there?
Deficit, meaning a blend of exhaustion and a survival mentality, meaning I'm in the survival of the fittest mode. It's all about me, and I got to get stuff done. So whatever it takes, I'm going to do, even if it means being rude.
Well, what are the effects of mean bosses?
Well, the effect is actually physiological. It shuts down the prefrontal cortex when you instill fear in someone else. So literally what happens is you move into a state of sympathetic arousal and your ability to think gets compromised. What a surprise that people don't perform as well.
You think people are motivated more by praise than fear?
You know, there's a famous study by researcher named John Gottman that shows that the number of positive comments it takes to outweigh the impact of a negative comment is 5 to 1. I believe it's probably 20 to 1. Yes, negative comments are toxic because they make you feel devalued. And when you feel devalued, all you can do is be reactive.
Yeah, you know what I thought was interesting too, Tony, is that some people said, I didn't even realize I was rude. I didn't realize I was mean, or that I just didn't have time to be nice. What do you say to that?
What I say is, Gail, you come in, every time I've been here, you come into the green room. And the message to me is, inevitably, you care. Is there a likelihood in the face of that I'm going to respond in a more engaged way because you do that? 100%.
But I'm not talking about that, Tony. I'm talking about people who just are, brusque and abrupt and don't even realize that they're doing it.
Because we haven't made it important in the workplace. So it's never been considered a key factor in great leadership. Great leadership has been considered something totally different that has nothing to do with interpersonal skills or relational skills. We're now in an era in which people's needs are so great, so complex, that if you don't pay attention to those needs, the likelihood is that you're going to get lower performance and less loyalty.
Tony, the reason she comes into the green room is not just to be nice, but she's looking to how she can find out from you how to make the interview better.
There's no question, but she's doing it in a way that blends this incredible, careful note-taking that she does about it and a sense that I'm interested in you.
Yes.
I care about you. That goes a long way.
What do you do if you work for a mean boss?
Yeah, that's the question.
You know what? I honestly think life is too short. You're spending the greatest number of hours of your waking life at work. Yeah. If, in fact, you're working for a demeaning and devaluing boss, ultimately, the object ought to be to get a different job. If that's not possible, then what you have to do is separate what that person says about you from what you feel about yourself. Am I actually someone who doesn't deserve to be valued?
Would you recommend to somebody who thinks their boss is mean, they should go to that person and say, look, I want to make this relationship perfect or better, and I feel like you're being mean and not listening to me.
But then you're out of a job.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. I'm
asking him.
Okay.
If you go to your boss and say, look, I think you're being mean and I want to know what's the problem, that's going to get you fired?
It's a very slippery slope because the problem is often with this boss is that boss is so self-absorbed and so narcissistic that to say that to the boss would make that boss feel devalued and attack back.
Well, I've never seen a narcissistic boss.
No, they exist, Charlie. Believe it or not, they actually exist.
Yes.
But your point is, you do think that you should go to the person.
Absolutely think you should go to the person. I think people, I think in the majority of cases, people should respond to that.
Here, let me go out on a limb.
I really do think.
Let me go out on a limb.
We don't have time for you to go out on a limb.
What you really want to do is go to the boss with love. What you really want to do is come from a positive place.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here because I want to get something. Make it better.
That
was the very point I made.
Well, then you didn't need me to be here after all, Charlie.
Okay.
Listen, you're the guy who interviews Putin.
No, yeah, that's right. And don't you forget it.
I'm not forgetting it.
Thank you, Tony Schwartz.
Thank you for being so nice.
No, it's good. It's good advice.